Hey everybody, we're back again with another episode. Just like last week, I'm Jason.
I'm Rob.
I'm Doc.
And this is Peeps on the Couch, episode 2. So we're going to start this episode off talking about probably what has become one of the most controversial movies of the year, and that is Ghostbusters.
Woo!
Yeah. Probably from this movie's inception, it's been just controversial with the decision to do an all-female cast.
Dan Aykroyd didn't like it at first.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He did not want this to be made like he said. He had his own version that he was going to do, and it's actually supposedly in production.
I heard rumblings that there was I thought it was a joke because it was right when the casting was announced for this one that there was rumors of an all-male remake being done.
That was real.
That would be Dan Aykroyd's version. Okay. Well, there's no need for it. There really is.
There's not, except to plug its vodka.
Yeah, pretty much. It's actually pretty good if you ever had it. It's nice and smooth. Anyway, back what we're talking about is obviously the decision to do an all-female cast, immediately people started losing their shit over it for whatever reason. Me personally, I don't care as long as the movie's good, as long as the movie's funny, and as long as it captures the spirit of what made the original so damn good. It's such a timeless classic. And obviously the first trailer, when they released it, was awful. It was terrible. Didn't look funny, didn't look interesting. It was about the only good thing about it was the CG looked pretty good for the ghost.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
And then they released the international version, which was basically the same thing with a couple new scenes that didn't add anything to it. Then they came out with a second trailer that was a little bit better. Still some cringeworthy moments. So, what do you guys think? Do you think this movie's really that controversial? Do you think it's going to be good?
I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be it's got people that make good movies behind it. I mean, Bill Murray signed on to do a cameo on it. Ernie Hudson signed on.
Didn't they all finally come around and agree for a cameo?
I believe they all did.
Obviously not Harold Ramis.
I'm not sure about Dan Aykroyd. Well, I mean, like Rick Moranis and Andy Potts did, but because Rick Moranis is long since retired.
Yeah, he years ago.
I mean, comedy trailers are always bad. They're just never a good comedy trailer movie. I remember seeing Super Trooper, the trailer for Super Trooper went down, and thinking, this is going to be the dumbest movie ever. And I love that movie. It's
a great movie.
But that trailer did not do any justice, but they never do.
And even the original trailer for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it was kind of...
Yeah. And it's now it's a classic.
Did you ever see the original trailer for Star Wars?
Oh, it's awful.
Absolutely god awful.
It was awful. That very first trailer.
I saw it too, and I was like, "What the hell is this crap?"
Was it somewhere in space? This is happening, or something like that.
Well, really, the best thing is the explosion at the end.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I want the movie to do good because if the movie does good, we'll obviously get sequels, and if the movie's good and it's entertaining and funny, we will see more. And that's a good thing, as long as they keep being good. I know we talked last week about comedy sequels and why they're so awful, and even Ghostbusters falls into that because the second one did not hold up as good to me. It was still an okay movie, nowhere near the level of the first one.
There's only one comedy movie I can think that actually did do well, and that's Hot Shots Part 2.
Yes, that's pretty much...
That's like the exception to the rule.
Just about, yes. Not to go on what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But,
I wasn't here. So.
Well, of course, you decided you had other more important things to do. So, Ro, your thoughts on it?
I actually have to agree with Duck here that it's going to do fine, only because of the fact that they are trying to go back to nostalgia of the Ghostbusters, how it first started. But as far as like the controversial part, like honestly, I think people are just taking it out of proportion because There's nothing wrong with having an all-female cast, just like how original Ghostbusters were an all-male cast. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I mean, so who's to say that the Ghostbusters couldn't have daughters that could actually fight ghosts? I mean,
well, that's not what the movie's about.
Yeah, the movie.
The movie is a hard reboot.
oh,
Which, if you watch the first trailer,
because see,
you won't know that.
Yeah, because like I said, when I first saw the first show, I really thought it was a sequel
Yes.
to what they left
It's
off.
a hard reboot, and
yeah.
that is like a point where I can kind of get with the negativity, where it feels like they're negating the whole thing. But the thing is, you still have the original Ghostbusters. Melissa McCarthy didn't come to your house and break your Blu-rays.
That is
But
true.
if she does,
I can see
She
your
does,
point
you know,
there.
get the pieces, have her sign it, sell it on eBay.
there you go.
But still, going with what I'm saying is like I don't really see anything wrong. Whether it's a remake, reboot, whatever the heck it is, I still think it's gonna be fine just because of the fact that they're still trying to bring the nostalgia of Ghostbusters.
But see, that's the double-edged sword here. That's why people are mad, because they want their thing. They remember their thing. This is our thing, not your thing.
Yeah.
And we want this new thing to be like how we want this new thing to be. And that's not how we would like
that's what you see a lot of times whenever a movie company decides to reboot, remake a classic, there's always a fight against it, because you have the people that it's such a part of their world. It's a movie that is so much a part of them that to turn around and make a new one like they do with, say, Ghostbusters, that you're basically taking that old one, you're taking it, throwing it out, and like here's the new version.
Well, I mean, we saw this last year. We saw it with Force Awakens, when people were like, you can't have a black stormtrooper, which...
Stormtroopers, you don't even know what the heck they are.
Well, they're supposedly all based on clones of Boba Fett. Jango Fett, right?
Get it right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I try not to think about those
movies.
Lose
the Star Wars hat if you get it wrong.
I try not to think of those movies. They kind of don't really exist. But, like, the logic behind that doesn't allow for growth. You can have your thing, but you have to let it grow. If you can't let what you like grow, I mean, I see this in my family all the time. People rally against changes in comics. People get so mad about something being different or being not how they want it that they don't even look at the possibility if it could be good or it could be bad.
Well, I mean, my thing is this: if like let's just say for Shizigil, the latest Fantastic Four reboot. That showed you that what everybody else has been talking about with the Ghostbusters movie, because they're thinking like, oh, they're gonna mess it up just like they did with the Fantastic Four remake or reboot, just because of the fact that the Storms aren't really brother and sister like how it was originally in the comics.
Well, before we start comparing that awful Fantastic Four movie to anything, there's a whole behind the scenes thing there as to why that movie was awful.
That was all John Trank.
But what
they just nobody got along.
But basically what I'm trying to say is like I see from their standpoint that they just think that it's gonna be really messed up. But if you don't have that room for growth, you're not gonna know how well a movie's gonna do or how well you can make a sequel out of it. Because I'm all for seeing this movie, and if they can make a sequel with that same cast, great. I mean, that shows they can actually do it, and they can do it right. But a lot of times, movies don't get the formula right. They just do something because they just want to make money, which is fine in a sense, but you're not going to get as many people into your theater because you're not doing it right.
Well, did anyone actually see the Fantastic Four movie besides me?
I don't know.
The first 15 minutes is a great Fantastic Four movie, and everything else just straight off.
That's been the consensus I always heard, was that it was the first part of the movie was great. Then about the time of that year leap was when it just nosedives into the gutter.
Yeah, and it was a director who and a studio who wanted a darker version of it, and that's not what we see in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's always been
we see-
lighthearted.
They want to try and keep the same type of feeling from the original movie. You see that in the trailer where they're going to a ghost that's there, and Kristen Wiig gets slimed. It's supposed to
And it
be
gets everywhere.
it's supposed to be reminiscent of Bill Murray being slimed by Slimer.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's supposed to be like that. But like reboots are always, it always depends on if the people that are involved in a reboot actually care about what the source material is.
Yeah, and
If you
that's a
look
big
at the
part.
Gem and the Holograms reboot,
That,
which took
It
out,
wasn't really a reboot.
that wasn't a reboot.
just
That was just
edit.
that's adaptation.
well, it took away the major part of Gem.
Yeah,
which was like the whole show.
Yeah,
it basically had nothing to do with the
it,
TV
it
show.
just had the
It was-
name and
But
the
like-
costume.
I've seen people compare Gem to Ghostbusters. Like, these are the same type of things. Like, no, it's not.
Well,
you, got
it's,
you got a director that is terrible with MCG as the director for Gem, and you have Paul Feig, who
it's
is a
made some
comedy,
good movies.
who's like lowest ranking thing on Rotten Tomatoes is something he co-starred in, and but like his directed and writing things all are critically acclaimed. And Freaks and Geeks is often thought of as a darling show that got canceled before its time, and he was great on At Midnight. So it's got my back.
And I think everybody can agree that we're all wanting the movie to do good. We all are intrigued in seeing it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to wait till the movie comes out to know if it's any good. But you also got to take into account the people who tried to defend this movie. You know, when I made comments when that first trailer came out of how I did not
Defend the
like
movie or disparage the trailer.
well, just in general.
Okay.
You know, I made comments, and of course, I did not like that first trailer. It was not good, and I made comments about it, and was called a sexist pig because of it. And a lot of these people who come to the defense of this movie automatically assume that the people who don't like something with this movie is because, oh, it's an all-female cast, you don't like it because there's women starring in it, oh, that means you're sexist. And that's not the case. I'm sure there's probably some people out there that can be said is true for. But you can't, it's what's the word I'm trying to say? You can't jump that gun because then you're really going to turn people off from the movie. People who might be interested in seeing it might get turned away when this is the attitude everybody has about anybody who has anything bad to say about the movie. And it turns me off, even though I'm still going to go see the movie. It really makes me not want to go see the movie when these are because what happens if I do the review for the movie? We'll just say, argument's sake, the movie's not that good. It's not funny. It's awful. Does that mean I'm sexist because I didn't like the movie? No, it was a bad movie.
But this is the internet. Where else are we supposed to put our outrage?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but that's another part to take into consideration about what's made this such a just firestorm of a movie. Is just from start to finish, it's just been one thing after another with this movie that has really made it a roller coaster of entertainment just before the movie even comes out.
You do know the trailer is supposedly the most
Yeah.
thumbed down movie trailer ever on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
There are people who have logged in multiple times just so they can.
I've read those comments.
Now, those are the people who you can't let matter.
No.
Leslie Jones was so harassed on Twitter about this movie that she quit Twitter for a little bit.
Yeah,
Wow.
which we're seeing a lot of that now, actually. I mean, look
Well,
at
I
Joss
mean,
Whedon
Yeah, Joss Whedon quit Twitter for a bit because people got mad at
because of Age of Ultron. Yeah.
And the thing is, guys, we can't be terrible people.
Exactly.
If we're terrible people, we're going to get terrible product. Why will they cater to you if you're going to just fling feces at them.
Exactly. So,
I mean, like I said, I'm all for seeing this movie, seeing any other type of movies. Just give it a chance before you really try to badger it.
well, just like you told me about the video and I watched it was.
The angry video game.
Yeah.
They don't know what we were talking about.
Well, I know that. I was getting into that. But he came out with a video a week or two ago.
About a week ago.
A week ago, saying that he's just downright refusing to see this movie because he thinks it's going to be awful. And that's his opinion. He's entitled to it. But he didn't help the case of people like me or anybody else with the way he presented his reasonings. He came off very arrogant, very snobbish, and which I think I made up a new word. Is it?
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like a word. It really hurt any legitimate concerns somebody might have with this movie when you have people like him coming out and saying the things that they're saying.
And like I told you when we discussed this, if you watch the video, and it's actually worth a watch, but look at his face when
Yeah.
he says that I refuse to watch it. That is someone who is on his kind of high horse. And the reasons he gives, while I may disagree with them, I can understand them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the reasoning he has is, this is my nostalgia. I've already, like, in his mind, he's already made a Ghostbusters 3 in his mind. And he did a video later on talking about the canceled Ghostbusters 3. I did not watch that one. I need to.
I didn't either, but I saw it in the
It's
queue.
one of the things where, like, he is knowledgeable about Ghostbusters history.
Yeah.
But just because something's made not the way you want it to, doesn't mean it's going to be bad. And, he could say the jokes weren't funny, and he said the effects were bad, and that's his opinion. I disagree with at least the effects.
I think the CG looks phenomenal. I mean, it's
compared to the original.
Well, I mean,
it's talking about 30 years of difference.
Yeah,
Well,
it's different, but
I
still.
showed someone Ghostbusters for the first time about 3 years ago. She had never seen it, and me and one of our friends, we loved it. We're like, we're gonna make you watch it. So we made her watch it, and after it's done, and she goes, I don't think I liked it. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, it's two 1980s. It's like, it was made in 1984.
Yeah, it's what do you expect.
But it wasn't a movie for it. And that's another thing people have to think. This movie isn't for
Everybody.
us. This isn't for us fans of the old movie.
It's for the
It's
new
to
fans.
make new fans. It's
Yes.
supposed to get the younger audiences in there. It's supposed to get girls feeling like they can be superheroes too.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we got Avengers has Black Widow and Scarlet Witch. Black Widow was really kind of cool in Civil War, but like they get relegated all the time. And
They're kind of secondary characters,
Yeah,
in the
it's-
background. They don't really,
thing that happened with Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and even though it's supposed to be the best part of that movie, but like this is a team of women going out to save the world. You don't see that very often. I think we need to see more of that.
I agree with you on that too. I mean, that's what makes me want to watch it, because I want to see it from a modern standpoint, because this
Yeah.
is a modern day Ghostbusters. It's not
And
our Ghostbusters like
and
you said.
Ghostbusters itself is a remake.
It is, yes.
It's
of
a
an old
remake of
TV
something
show.
that nobody remembers. But it's
Exactly.
Yeah.
okay because nobody remembers that. They don't have fond memories of the monkey and Ghostbusters. Where's
Oh,
the
yeah.
gorilla?
Yeah, that's a
Well-
yeah. Because you're talking about the old school
I am talking about
Ghostbusters.
the old school
yes.
Ghostbusters.
The one-
Yes.
Well, it's the same
There
kind
was
of.
only two guys, a gorilla, a car that basically talked, that had to be
I wasn't
cranked
sure
up.
if the car talked or not because I've never seen it.
No,
I've
the
only
car
seen-
talked.
I've only seen stills of it, and I'm like, wow.
No, the car talked. I actually have the VHS of maybe like 2 or 3 episodes on that VHS tape. My mom actually bought it for me when I was a kid. I watched that and I was like, that's classic. That's nostalgia.
I could see the Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I
But
don't remember this.
but I mean,
I wouldn't remember if there was a. Is that Ernie Hudson looks really different? That's racist.
Yes.
But I mean, from that Ghostbusters to the real Ghostbusters cartoon to the Ghostbusters movie to this reboot. Every one of them was different for their time. They were all made for the next generation to look at it. So for me, I look at it as if this is a reboot, not a remake, not a sequel. Okay, I see it as modern day Ghostbusters, where females are the ones saving us instead of men.
Also, that trap looks awesome as hell.
Bear trap looking one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I
And
think
the equipment
the
looks a
new
whole lot
equipment looks
better.
great.
And
I
that's-
love Melissa McCarthy punching out ghosts.
Yeah.
I like the little
The
pistol.
pistols.
Yeah.
The pistols.
Which it kind of was one of the cringeworthy scenes for me was where she
What?
pulls them out and starts licking
yeah,
the
that
pistols.
was weird.
That
but
was, oof. But I'm looking. I think it's interesting.
Like
you
I
know, it's
said-
like we're taking because the originals there was nothing but the proton packs,
And
and now we're going from there to
until the
pist-
cartoon.
Well,
yeah, the cartoon. Well, if you're talking about the other cartoon, not the real Ghostbusters, but
No, I'm talking about the real Ghostbusters.
okay, because there was another one, a spin-off,
Yeah,
the
the
Extreme
Extreme
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
They
Yeah.
also had some good equipment on theirs, and
Which they put into the new comics that are coming out.
ooh, nice.
Yes. All right, we've spent 20 minutes talking
Yeah.
about this.
we could go on for more, but we don't have all day to talk about
I think
this.
the
so
thing is, see the movie for
Yeah.
yourself and judge
Yes.
for yourself.
Just watch it.
just you know, if
It ain't
if
the
you
end
are
of the world.
interested in watching this movie,
I am interested.
which I think we all are,
Yes.
go watch it. See for yourself if the movie's good. If it's not, okay, you know, I'm sure everybody's seen plenty of bad movies in the theaters before. So just do what?
Grown-ups.
Twilight movies.
No, I saw them.
I've seen them all.
That was for my
It was my wife, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to see all of them. And it's like 15 hours of my life I'll never get back. So go see it for yourself. If you're interested in watching it, go watch it and see for yourself. You might love it. You might not. If you don't, oh well. If you do, hey, you saw a great movie.
Yep.
And so we'll see. I think it's what? Next month?
I think
I
so.
think so.
Yeah, I think it's when it comes out.
I think it's either end of June or early July.
I can't remember right off. But
Yeah.
we'll know then. We'll see.
We'll probably know earlier because it's going to have advanced screening.
Oh, there's all. If it doesn't, then be worried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be worried if there was no.
If there are no press screenings for this movie, there's your key to be worried.
Yeah, Batman vs Superman
It
did not have. They had a gag order. They could not release it.
well, Civil War had the same thing.
No, Civil War had releases out a whole
It
month.
it
beforehand.
did, but they had a gag order on it till like a few weeks before the movie came out.
Yeah, but they were still letting you
Yeah.
get reviews before they moved out. Batman vs Superman did not let that happen.
And we saw how that turned out.
Mm.
So, yes, if there are no press screenings, be very worried about the movie because then that means the studio has no faith in it and they're pretty sure they're releasing a giant turd of a movie. But, again, we still have time between now and then, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right, so now that we got that out the way,
You want to segue into DC? Since we
we'll
just talked about
segue
that?
into DC, and we'll let Duck go over this one since he's the comic guy and can pretty much go over this a little bit better than the rest of us.
All right, this is
Sure.
this is just a lowdown, really quick summary. Batman and Superman was a hit. It absolutely made its money. It was a blockbuster. Critics hated it. There's a reason they hated it. It was not good. And from the various reasonings of it made dream sequences to it not making any sense to Doomsday being added at the end, and why is Batman killing people? Warner Brothers took a look at it, and they originally said, we're still recommitted to Zack Snyder continuing on with the DC as the creative head of DC movies. And within the last, it was last week, they were like, no, he's not doing that. Jeff Jones, one of the head architects of DC right now, big person behind DC Rebirth, is now being in charge of the movies, and he's going to be chief creative consultant for the movies, and he's going to try and keep everything on track.
He's basically the Kevin Feige for DC.
Now he can't really do much influence on the Wonder Woman movie. Can't really do much influence on the Justice League movie.
Part 1.
Part 1, yes. But he is apparently going to be working directly with Ben Affleck on the new Batman movie, and he will be. think he's going to help out with the Flash movie, which did lose its director. So, due to creative differences, and I think that was before Jeff Jones was announced.
Yeah, it was a few weeks before. Yes,
I believe it was mostly due to restraints between David Goyer and Zack Snyder and the director whose name I can't remember offhand.
the one for Flash.
Yes.
Okay, no, I don't remember who that was either.
And Aquaman's still on track. All the movies are apparently
Which there were
track.
also the rumors that James Wan was going to leave Aquaman. That came out right after the Flash director left, which
James Wan later came out and said, "No, I'm not."
Yeah,
leaving.
he was very committed to still making this movie, so we still have that director.
Yeah, so basically, it's a huge shakeup for Warner Brothers movies on it. I think they, especially since looking at the totals of Civil War, which came out in a busier month, which it got to the $1 billion much quicker than.
Well, Batman vs Superman hasn't even broke $1 billion.
No, it hasn't, and Civil War did it in like with international
2-3
weeks.
weeks.
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it had been out internationally for a whole month.
Yeah.
But the press, the reviews on it were all unanimously high, and
the fan reception was still very, very high for Civil War.
Spider-Man.
Well,
yeah.
There was so much about the movie that was phenomenal. We're not going to review the movie right here, but
it's good. Go see it. That's all you need.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, or go see Zootopia again. That's great too.
There's any number. Jungle Book again. I can't rave about that movie enough.
But I mean, it made me very happy when I saw Jeff Jones being put in charge.
They've needed this,
and he loves the DC universe.
The only concern, and it's not even a big concern, was he doesn't really have any experience in the movie industry.
Actually, he's written for TV quite a few times.
Some, yes. He's not like...
He's done writing for Robot Chicken. He's actually been a creative consultant on several of the DC shows, including Flash, which is one of the best DC shows there is.
And let's not forget the Green Lantern movie. Yes, he was involved in that movie.
Yeah, I did see
so,
name,
big strike. But that's what my only concern with this is. Yes, he's a huge fan of the comics, which that is tremendous. That helps.
Yes.
But you can't just let that be the sole reasoning for putting this guy in charge of your cinematic universe.
You got to trust him.
Yes, you have to give this guy control, not necessarily control, but yeah. I mean, with Kevin Feige, he took the reins of this Marvel Cinematic Universe and has turned it into, what they say, just $10 billion.
Well, you realize, no one thought this was going to happen.
No, God no.
Everyone was like, you can't do this. Movies that are interlinked.
Comic book movies too,
And can we also get done with the comic book movies are dying thing? As long as they make good movies, they're going to still be there.
Yep.
Okay? When they start making terrible ones, that's when it's going to go. That's
Yes.
what happens with every genre. We don't need to hear about how that.
There's no comic book fatigue just yet. Maybe if, obviously Batman v Superman had some very mixed reviews. If Civil War had, if basically the next several movies had, then okay, we could maybe say that. But they're all doing phenomenally well. I was saying, the Marvel Cinematic Universe just broke $10 billion with Civil War. That's nothing to laugh at. That's nothing to say anything about. But anyway, back to the topic. I see this being very good for DC.
Oh, it's the only decision they could have made.
Because you put somebody now over your movies in a Kevin Feige position, who it can't be argued made the Marvel movies what they are today. You can't argue that point. And maybe this guy can do the same thing for DC. Because they haven't had the best track record in their movies. The highest rated one was Man of Steel, and even that one was mixed reviews.
Man of Steel was 35%.
Which, Batman, that's not saying anything. I mean, Batman v Superman is lower than that.
Well, I mean, yeah, but, so we're not counting the Batman films?
Well, this is part of the DC movies movies, which was Man of Steel
wait,
and Batman
wait.
v Superman.
You're talking about the cinematic universe.
Yes.
DC,
Okay.
not overall DC.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Okay,
go
'cause, I mean,
overall,
if they
then,
had like Christopher Nolan, because like I remember when Man of Steel came out, Christopher Nolan had a lot of criticism to say like especially with the next snap.
yeah.
Christopher Nolan said no, you can't do that, and David Goyer and Zack Snyder were like, we know what is mature. Superman snapping next, that's mature.
And
I bet
look how that turned
Christopher Nolan was like, couldn't he just jump?
Yeah, could have done it.
But my fear is that they're doing things too quickly.
That is a big, and going into the DC movies was something I always thought was that they're going to go too soon, too fast
They
to
want
catch up to Marvel.
They want the
Yeah.
payoff.
Yeah,
Yes.
they want to be
build
like
up.
Marvel Cinematic Universe, like how well
Well,
that they're doing.
all the places want to do this. The Universal Monsters want to do this.
Yeah.
The Fast and Furious people are actually trying to have an extended universe. Why?
There's
but,
only so much you could do with cars.
Well, maybe you do a Fast movie and then maybe a Furious movie. And then you spread it out to an FA and an ST. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the story, all the theaters saw what, all the studios saw what Marvel did, and they saw Avengers made a ton of money. And they're like, we want that, but we don't want to put the effort to make that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta
But
think.
you have
Go
to think, with the Avengers, you're taking all different superheroes, making their individual movies, minus like
Yeah,
a
there
few.
were
Yeah, because you
4
didn't.
movies out.
Yeah, before Avengers, and it was
Well,
all leading up to
5.
it.
Five
Okay,
if you
We
count Hulk.
forget Hulk a lot. And there's a reason
Yeah,
to forget Hulk
yeah.
a lot.
But still,
I think it's an underrated movie.
It is an underrated
it's not
movie.
bad.
No.
No, the first one was terrible to me. The second one was a lot better.
Well, the Edward
Ang Lee
Norton
one?
one.
Yeah, the
the
Edward
Ang
Norton-
Lee one was awful. That was an atrocity
There were
of a
some
movie.
things I liked in it. I liked the comic panel, but everything else. Why did you bring the
But-
dogs in there?
But what I'm saying is that all of those individual movies led up to Avengers, so they
Yeah.
all somehow interlinked within those little end of credit previews. That's
And-
all it was.
Well, in Batman vs Superman, they're trying to act like they're doing that, but their whole thing is like, yeah, sure, you have the actual cameo of Wonder Woman. You have the actual cameo of Aquaman, or is it just video?
Well, all of them have a cameo in that
Well,
movie, so to
I
speak.
mean,
But it's
they're like you see them.
You see all of
directly.
them.
yeah.
well, the
yeah,
only-
Rather
it's
not
in the
through
movie.
a screen of a.
But the only one you see is Flash, and for which you can't even tell it's Flash.
Oh, because he's just
Unless-
a blur, right?
Well, it's that, plus he's in some weird getup, and it's part of a dream sequence. It's all, you don't even know that's who it is until later. By the time you're done with the movie, then you're like, oh, that was the Flash. But when you see the movie, you have no idea that's who it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's that was one of the many problems I had with the movie. But
My main problem is Zack Snyder. Zack
they
Snyder-
need to get him out of these movies.
Yeah.
Well, I
because
mean,
he's
you
not-
know,
Or
he's not-
have
he's fine with a movie that Batman gets raped in.
Yeah.
You heard that quote? Oh,
he wanted him like to get raped or something
you
like
wanted
that.
him to get like raped in prison,
Yeah.
or something like
I
that.
read a little bit about that. Yeah, he said
Zack
that
Snyder does not understand Batman, and he
No.
thinks he does.
I don't think he
They-
understands any of it.
if they keep Zack Snyder on, you know, obviously it's too late to take away from the first Justice League movie. But going forward, if Jeff can wrangle him in and have control over these movies like Kevin Feige does, then I think we can get a very good DC cinematic universe.
Now, in order to just bring the mood down a little bit, you know, we almost had a Justice League directed by Joe.
well, yeah,
And
that would have been awesome.
yeah, well, we got Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, I know you mentioned something about the DC Rebirth. Is that for just the cinematic universe?
no, that's for the comics.
okay.
The Rebirth is for the comics because, quick little tangent, no more than 1 minute. When they did the New 52, it was launched, and there were some titles that were really good, some titles that were really bad. A lot of it was convoluted, and people were like, we don't like this, and now Rebirth is out to undo a lot of things that people don't like.
Okay, because I was like, so I thought this was for.
But try and keep the
For-
things that people did like
Yeah.
you know, the Batman run.
'Cause I
It's
mean,
actually really good.
Yeah, because I did like a little bit of the new 52s. There was some things about that I was like, what the hell is this? But I mean, I can see from your standpoint what people are saying, because it does kind of throw you off with some of the things that they did, and then some of the other stuff they did, like the costumes. I thought some of them were really good.
I thought many.
Yeah.
I did not. The over armor I didn't like. Also, they gave Rob Liefeld art job.
Well,
again.
anytime he's involved in a comic, you know,
So
it's
bad.
just. Oof.
Uh,
So yeah, I think it's safe to say we can expect, depending on how much control they give him, we can expect some very, very good things going forward with the DC movies, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing, because if these movies are good, that can only mean we'll get better movies all around in comic book movies, because then Marvel's going to try to one-up it by making their movies even better. And it's just good all around if everybody is making great movies.
health competition.
Yes,
And
very much.
that's I think that's something that a lot of the movie industry doesn't have. They're just so focused on making that money.
Well,
They're not even thinking about just the health
that's what
competition.
led to like movies, epic movies and stuff like that. They were super cheap and they made that money.
That's how Adam Sandler keeps making movies.
That is how I understand.
Yeah.
He makes them for like $2 million, and they make
There are vacations for them.
$15 million.
They
Yeah.
literally vacations. For
Yeah. He gets him a bunch of friends together. They make a real cheap movie.
them.
Release
No,
it.
they said it.
Oh,
He's
I know.
like,
He
I
has.
want to
He
do
has
a
said
movie
that.
in Hawaii. Can we do a movie in Hawaii? Like, okay, Adam.
And they give him a very short budget, but he gets a bunch of his friends together, and
Yeah.
they make a movie for next to nothing. It doesn't make a whole lot of movie, but
as long as you
enough
don't
to where they
lose
make a
money,
good profit.
As long as you don't lose money, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
But I really think that DC and Marvel needs to get back with that healthy competition, and if DC really gets that director to really put his hands into it.
well, DC needs to differentiate between mature and violent.
Yes.
Yeah, they still have a lot of growth that they
But-
need to work. They have
But with the people who are putting on the newer project, they should be getting to that. But like, I keep hearing things that are a little bit disturbing to me. Like the Wonder Woman was supposedly to be a lot more grim. It's supposed to be like one of the darkest films DC has or something like that.
Well, to be fair,
Then-
look where it takes place. you
Then
know?
they didn't want to cast the TV Flash as the Flash because he didn't fit the profile, which is dark.
It was too. The TV show was too bright and colorful, where they wanted this dark, grim movie, and that's why they didn't want him over there.
I mean, okay, I may not be 100% knowing origin story of Flash, but I don't think it's that daggone gritty
Well,
and grim.
I mean, it
There-
wasn't until Jeff Johns made it that way.
Yeah.
But it was a police scientist in lab next to chemicals. Lightning strikes him. He's the Flash.
Yeah, I mean,
But
that's
then
the
Jeff
general-
Johns made it that the lightning strikes him because it's the reverse Flash, and the reverse Flash kills his mom for some reason. But it's DC. You gotta kill one parent somehow.
Yeah.
That's pretty much Comics 101. Is a parent has to die, at least one.
Mm-hmm.
So
Not in this Marvel, thankfully.
yet,
Better not. It's a great book.
just wait. One parent will die eventually. All right. So
We've already pretty much mined this topic.
yes,
Yeah.
we've talked about this enough. So the next topic will. I forgot which one we were doing next.
You want to do the adaptation or you want to do Cap?
We'll do Cat.
Okay.
Making this one nice, short, sweet.
Hail Hydra.
Hell
Yeah.
Hydra. Yes.
So
I've
should
been
I-
hearing that.
should I-
Yeah, we'll let you go over that one
Recap
as
this
well.
again? Okay. In the newest issue of Captain America Steve Rogers, Nick Spencer has now put in a underlying plot line that when Steve Rogers was a boy, his abused mother got kind of recruited by Hydra. And it's turning out that Steve Rogers is supposedly a sleeper Hydra agent the entire time. Now, this makes no sense.
No.
What?
It makes no sense, and I can get why people are upset. This is it's a twist. It comes out of nowhere. It does come out of nowhere.
But it makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense, and I'm fine with shocking twists if it doesn't shatter my disbelief. And that's my problem with this. As I wrote in the review I did on the Facebook page, is the ending made me go, "That's bullshit. There's no way that this actually happened."
Yeah.
I later figured out a way that it could have happened. It's kind of dumb, but Nick Spencer, I like Nick Spencer as a writer. I don't think he's good enough to do this kind of a drastic change on it. And also, the main reason why this could never have been like the way Marvel was saying, because Marvel was saying, yes, he's been a Hydra sleeper agent for the entire time, since he was a little boy. But that can't be. Captain America's wielded Thor's hammer. Captain America's had the Cosmic Cube. Even recently, a couple years ago, he wielded the Infinity Gauntlet. If a sleeper agent of Hydra has the Infinity Gauntlet, there is no way he lets that go.
No.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he was trying to stop incursion and it destroyed. But the thing is, he would have just remade reality first, then tried to stop the incursion, just like Doom did in Secret War. So, in the long story short, it's a shock reveal. It's going to last like a year, maybe.
I don't even give it that long.
Well, they usually last a year, and Marvel writes ahead of advance in that time. It's probably going to last a year. It might last 2. It's supposed to have long-lasting effects. Marvel response to it has not been good.
Well, even Chris Evans, he made a little post on Twitter about it, and he was very vocal that he doesn't like it.
And Tom Broher, I can't say his last name, one of the editor-in-chiefs of Marvel, he responded to it and said, "Well, not every comic is for everyone." And he's known for very dismissive answers. He does this all the time. And it's because he goes through a lot of vitriol all the time. And I imagine this time is because it's making headlines. It's making more headlines than Rebirth is. And Rebirth is actually having substantial changes throughout the whole
And not to mention the memes.
Oh, yeah. The Snickers one is great.
That one's a great one.
Yeah.
That one is.
And then all the parody ones too. I saw one where Batman says he killed his parents.
You see the John Cena one?
You can see me.
Yes.
Yeah. Spider-Man killed his uncle.
Yeah.
Daredevil, I've been able to see the whole time.
Yeah.
I saw one this morning that I laughed so hard at this. It was Black Panther saying white power.
Wow.
They should have one that's Mr. T. They should have one that's Mr. T and it says, "I do not believe."
I respect the fool.
I don't care about the
Yeah. So, now, does anybody actually think, now I've heard this topic brought up with this, does anybody actually honestly think that the MCU, the movies, are going to involve this plot?
Oh, no.
Hell no.
God, no. No.
But I mean, in that logic, though, I didn't expect them to use Civil War. I mean, it's not that good of a comic book limited series. But this is going to be, I mean, they'd be more likely to use Cap Wolf than this.
Yeah, I don't see them, especially the way...
Battle armor.
Yeah, the way Cap's been portrayed in the movies is very Boy Scout, very...
Patriotic.
Well, same for the comics.
Well, I'm talking about, that's why, if they... Because you got to think, we've only had 3 Captain America movies. Yes, he's had the 2 Avenger movies as well.
We've had 5 Captain America movies. I'm sorry. You are not counting the 1976 ones with the Cap cycle.
No, we're not
and
counting
the Italian Red Skull.
those. Those don't exist. I don't remember those movies. Thank you.
Dolph Lundgren and Spud.
Better than that Cap movie.
Yeah, well, yeah. The shield is flexible.
Yeah.
Huh.
And let's not forget Italian Red Skull.
Yes.
Let's just... So, Marvel will not include this plot into any movies. That'll just be idiotic. It'll never happen.
Well, the movies are already being filmed for.
Yeah. I mean,
it's it would be.
It's not like they can include this plot line in the Infinity War movie.
Yeah, and it's
You
not.
know?
And it's also they're not going to like other storylines happened before that.
Yeah.
They're not going to. They're not going to make Spider-Man make a deal with Mephisto. Yeah. They're not.
Jane Foster's not going to become Thor.
That would be awesome.
But Natalie Portman doesn't want to do the movies.
No, she doesn't.
So
Yeah.
she's out. You're not going to see Spider-Gwen in a Spider-Man movie.
You're not going to see Gwenpool.
No.
Heck, after Rise of Apocalypse, why not see very many more X-Men movies?
They'll still make.
Yeah,
well, I
they
mean,
will try.
it's not getting very well.
And even the opening was not that good. I mean, it opened to way less than Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I mean,
way less.
but I mean, also Jennifer Lawrence does not want to play Mystique anymore.
And it comes
Apparently
across
it
in the
comes off
movie.
Yeah.
very-
It does.
And you can see it in the trailer because she has that.
She's
I
phoning it
don't
in.
give a
She's
kind of
phoning
look.
in her
Yeah.
performance from another continent. And it's just, not literally phoning it in, but her performance just is not that good in the movie. You can tell she just doesn't care to be there. She's just earning a paycheck.
It's a good
But-
check.
It probably was a very good
Yeah,
job.
I mean, they her.
I think it was like 20, 30 million
Well,
got for
she's
that
the
movie.
biggest star in that movie.
Yeah, because they literally focused
Wow.
around Mystique anyway.
Well, Fassbender. Yeah. Fassbender.
Yeah, okay.
But
Besides
still,
the X-Men movies, name another well-received movie that he's been in.
Well-received movie or performance?
Well-received movie.
300.
Isn't that?
Yes.
I do not remember.
The only reason I know that is because I watched it recently, and I was like, holy crap, that's Michael Fassbender in this
Man, I
movie.
cannot watch that movie again.
I watched it once and
I watched it once and I tried to watch it a second time, and I'm like, huh, this is.
I just watched.
I just watch it for the
once.
fight scenes, really. That's it. Because those are awesome.
Yeah, the fight scenes are awesome.
Yeah.
But-
Anyway, enough way on the
thing-
left field with this.
Last thing, like, it just. That's what the Cap thing is. Calm down. It's gonna be fine. Fox News, shut up.
All right, so the last topic of today is
Adaptation.
adaptations. It seems like all we get now are movies being adapted from something, whether it's a comic book, older TV show, a book, something. You know, books are getting real popular ones,
They've
Which
always
is-
been that way.
Yeah, which is fine.
but we've been seeing a lot more with, especially the young adult books.
I actually don't think we're seeing it anymore. I think
It's
we're just
declined, yes.
Noticing it.
There's like a season for them because
Yeah.
I noticed like if it's any of the type of like romance novel ones,
You know
those are
why?
the ones that they
They
go
make
for.
money.
'Cause
Well,
they make
you know
money.
why? Because they get released about this time of year. Because they get released because they know they're not going to be hits, but they'll make their money. They want to release them. They'll release them in April. They'll release them in August and September because those are they need to have a new movie in the
Yes. And they're generally very cheap movies. So they don't, and just like what we were talking about with the Adam Sandler movies, they make them very cheap. Even if they open to $10 or $15 million, they've made their budget back. So everything after that's just gravy.
I mean, there's actually I was reading a book called Fortune for It by Michael Bendis, current writer of Avengers, and he used to write Ultimate Spider-Man. He's one of the people that brought Marvel back from the into creative limelight, and he was a writer for Hollywood for a little bit. He was optioning his book Goldfish to studios, and he was saying how you have to look at the fact that most movies that are ever released, just think about what you see in a year, only about 10 of them, out of like 100, are original properties. Everything else is a remake, adaptation, or
Sequels, sequel prequels.
Yeah.
sequel, prequel, all that. And I mean, I never noticed that until I read that.
Yeah.
And then you look at it, and I mean, look at what's currently out in the top 10.
Just not the top 10, just go to the top 5. You know, you got Angry Birds, adapted from a video game. You got Civil War, comic book.
Sequel.
Sequel as well. You have The Nice Guys, which is...
That's an original.
That's an original one.
Actually, no, that is an original.
But also did not make a whole lot of money on opening weekend, unfortunately, because it's a great movie.
It wasn't going.
It wasn't going to. No, it was up against too much. What was the other one? Oh crap! Neighbors 2, a sequel.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of
be good too.
I've heard it's actually pretty funny. And then just look at this past
I think
weekend.
the only thing in the top 10 that's not a sequel or any of those adaptations is Nice Guys and Zootopia.
Pretty much. I'd have to see the full ranking to know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But look at what just came out this past week, this Friday. X-Men Apocalypse, a sequel and adaptation, and then Alice Through the Looking Glass, sequel adaptation. Look at what's coming out later. You have a lot of sequel adaptations and remakes.
The next big movie is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
which is a sequel and a remake and everything, or not a remake but adaptation.
And of course, we have Ghostbusters coming out.
Yeah, you got Suicide Squad. You have Warcraft. You have,
which apparently is doing really bad with reviews,
but is actually making a bunch of money.
Oh, of course, it's going to make a bunch of money.
And I've actually, kind of going off on another tangent here. The one consensus I've heard with Warcraft is if you're a fan of the games, you will enjoy the movie. If you are not, you're not going to enjoy the movie. And if you've never played the games, it is very hard to follow because Duncan Jones does not hold your hand when it comes to the names, the places, the story.
I am going to be screwed.
I will love it because I'm a huge Warcraft fan.
I've never played Warcraft.
I
played
Warcraft 2 once, and I was like, oh, I'm terrible.
I was one of those World of Warcraft
I have
guys.
never played it.
I had
so for me, it would be like
trial.
For me,
I played it for
like
years.
watching like the Lord of the Rings. Like if that is how I'm gonna view it. Like I'll be like watching Lord of the Rings. There'll be places, names that I ain't gonna understand, but I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm watching it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a great fight scene. Yeah, great.
And I've heard the consensus, everybody says the CG is absolutely phenomenal. It looks phenomenal. But, all right, into that tangent, back to, we just talked about it earlier. You had Jim and the Holograms, an adaptation of an older TV show. You have, the
thing is, you're going to see this, I mean,
and the
we're
reasoning,
just noticing it more.
Yes, and I think a lot of the reasoning behind why you're seeing so much of this is it's established properties.
It's not that. It's
I'm just joking.
It gets
if you hear they're making a Warcraft movie,
it's gonna
the fans of Warcraft are going to be like, okay, I'm listening, and might even be what the bulk of your audience is to go see it. Same thing with any of the older TV shows, comic books. The fans of those comics are going to be interested in seeing the movie. These are established properties. They don't have to really do a ton of marketing because they can just rely on the people who know this property, this TV show. They're going to go see it.
But there is a downside to it because depending on like the TV show, like for example, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., that was from a TV show.
Yes.
But if you're trying to attract the older people that watched it,
they're mostly dead.
Some of them are dead. Some of them probably remember watching it, but they're like, if they didn't like the TV show at that time, it's almost like, why am I
well, it's the same thing a few years ago when we got, what was it, Get Smart?
Get Smart.
That was the Steve Carell one, right?
Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yes.
Now, I actually watched Get Smart.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I watched Get Smart when I was.
I have most of the sets on DVD.
Yeah.
It's Mel Brooks and Buck Henry. It's fantastic.
It is.
Well, Mel Brooks
and that's what I'm saying. It's funny. It was great for its time. It was like really great. So seeing a movie for it, modern day.
I liked the movie.
I actually liked it. I actually liked the movie.
Like this is also like
and Bill Murray cameo.
Yeah.
As a treat.
Yeah, he was a treat.
Well, yeah, and like, did they have the Pen of Silence in it? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Before force field of silence or something like that. But yeah, I know, basically, yeah.
These are jokes that, like, if you're familiar with something that came out in like 1962, it's great.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's not everyone's familiar with it, and sometimes you get remakes that are really bad. Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh no, because my wife still hates the fact that they even did that with both Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Oh, you mean the Matthew Broderick one, and then they replaced him with French Stewart.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She
Ugh.
was just like, what the heck did they do? Why did they even? If they weren't gonna make a really good Inspector Gadget, they shouldn't have done it at all. That's her.
Well, they
that's
should have
her
done
thing.
it. They should have done it animated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it was fine animated.
But then
anyway.
there's some adaptations that take a different look that are actually okay, but never get the chance to actually do that. Like Astro Boy. Astro
Yes.
Boy was actually an okay movie.
The animated one.
The animated
Yeah.
one. It was not bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And then but it got people were upset.
It
with
tanked.
It did.
Basically.
And then
Nice.
like Speed Racer. Speed Racer was actually not only pretty faithful to the source material, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I didn't like it.
It's not good.
Yeah,
it's like I've heard the negativity about it. So for me, it was like, yeah, I wanted to see it,
That's why I wanted to see it.
but it was just like,
But then you get something like The Lone Ranger, where everyone's excited about it. And
Well, that movie had all other problems anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, casting Johnny Depp as, an Indian.
yeah,
Well, it's not as bad as casting Emma Stone as a half Chinese woman in Aloha.
Well, that's
Which
a whole
is a-
topic for another day.
Which is that way. Real quick.
that kind of topic's for another day.
but I mean, I see what you're saying, Doc. I mean, it shows that there are some good sides to having the adaptation, and then there's some bad sides to it. It's just we've noticed that there's a whole lot more coming out versus something that's original. So when you actually hear something that's original, you automatically think, oh, maybe that's something that's a remake, and then you find out, oh no, it's original. Like Nice Guys. I actually thought after seeing trailers for all these other remakes and adaptations,
Well,
that
it is
I
a
was like,
period- it is
oh,
a
Nice
period
Guys is
piece.
probably
It's very much a period piece. It's what, late
But, like-
70s, I think it is.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was based off of something. That's why I was like, oh.
Well, here's
it's
a
another
case in
adaptation.
point. All right. There was a movie last year that came out. It was an original movie. It's called Sicario.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic movie. Absolutely loved it. Exactly.
Well, it was a genre. It was a movie that
Yeah.
was interesting.
The
I didn't
movie-
see it.
Did not perform well in theaters. It was received phenomenally, but it didn't do very good in theaters because it was a name nobody knew. Whereas you take a movie, say Jurassic World came out last year. It was an enjoyable movie.
That's great.
Of course.
You can have my babies.
And it's a name everybody knows. Everybody knows the name Jurassic Park. Because a lot of us grew up on that first movie.
Yeah.
We'll forget the other two existed.
Yeah.
And those movies established properties, they're established names.
I remember one that's coming out, another remake.
We're way past that at this point.
No, okay.
We're
Bad
furthering the conversation. We've already passed the point of what else. But yeah, please enlighten us.
Independence Day 2.
Let's not go there.
It's got Jeff Goldblum in it.
Get Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Let's just hope maybe this time he'll have a MacBook Pro and connect to the alien ship.
Oh, no, he's just going to plug apartments.com.
Yeah, pretty much.
Plug his iPod in.
Yeah, just get him new housing.
There we go. I'm still going to go watch the movie.
Of course, we're dumb.
I think it's going to be an enjoyable bad movie, just like the first one.
Take my money.
Yes.
Actually, the first one was recently on Google Play for 99 cents. So,
Well, they just re-released it on Blu-ray.
yeah.
I mean, which I bought. My wife loves the movie.
It's not a bad
It's not a bad, but it's
dog's twist.
I wish anybody else had. But these are established properties, like we're saying. They're easier to fund. It's easier to get a budget for these movies versus an original because movies are not cheap.
They're not.
Think about how much a lot of movies cost. a lot of movies nowadays are the $100+ million.
In order to make it even indie film, it's like $8 million.
You still have to raise millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So even the cheapest of the cheap, unless it's
Just the holograms, with as cheap as it looked, would cost like $10 million to make.
the Point Break, the new one,
Like
it almost bankrupted the production company because it was like $150-170 million of a budget.
to make $15.
Exactly. That was from the
What?
one person who went. It was from the main actor's mother. He went to go see it, and that was it.
He's such a nice boy in this.
Wow.
And even she admitted it was an awful movie.
He
But-
could have been better.
Yeah. Movies are not cheap, so by having an established property, it's easier to get a budget. It's easier to get a movie greenlit because you're like, oh, there's already a fandom in this movie, so people will go see it because of this.
Yeah.
And it's a lot harder to keep a movie in theaters now because we're releasing Blu-rays so quick.
It's within not even
Deadpool-
6 months.
Deadpool is still in theaters, and it's been on Blu-ray for a month.
Well, look at
Zootopia is still in the top 10. It comes out on Blu-ray next week.
about to say, I thought it was next month at some point.
It's early June.
Well, just even look at Star Wars. When The Force Awakens came out this past December, it was out on Blu-ray in April.
Oh man, I remember when Lord of the Rings came out. I was like, oh, when that comes out on DVD, I'm going to get it. And it was a year and a half.
Exactly. It's
It's one of those.
it's kind of the trend that's going on. Obviously, we're getting movies out faster.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, it was
We
you were
used to
waiting.
have a movie in the top 10. Used to have a movie #1 for 10 weeks running.
Yeah, I mean, look at Avatar when that came out
Oh.
That was #1 for what?
for a long time, but it was also in theaters for almost a full year
Yeah.
because the DVDs weren't coming out yet.
Well, we consume things quicker now.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, I think I'm not saying that piracy is to blame. I think piracy doesn't help it because people do rip it very quickly. I think studios are like, well, we have to counteract that. We got to release it.
Yes. Which
I
also in
think
turn hurts the box office because it's like, if it's a movie you're on the fence about, why go see it, spend $20 to the movies to go see it
That's
when you
why
can just
they
wait a
count.
few months?
That's why they count international
Yes.
releases now.
Well, they have
But
to
now-
at this point.
But now they're counting DVD and Blu-ray sales and even digital online purchases
Yeah.
into the
VODs and things
yeah,
like that. Yes.
which is good because it does give you a better accurate number to how many people are actually watching this movie.
Yeah, because
Which
especially if it's like if the movie is like gonna tank in the box in the theaters,
We just
you
hope
can
make
always
you
they
hope
can always
you
make it up
back and-
by buying the
Well,
DVD.
there have been examples of that. There have been movies that tanked in the theaters, but when it comes out on DVD, Blu-ray, makes a killing.
Oh yeah.
There are examples of that out there.
Well, I mean,
It happens.
when to think back when I was a kid, Hook was panned
Yeah.
by critics, but it still has a resurgence to it.
It's
people-
a popular movie.
Fight Club is still
Yes.
very well received movie now, but when it came out, it was panned.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And it
sometimes,
didn't do good in theaters.
sometimes we don't get movies when they first come out. We don't understand. Like Brazil,
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Mhm.
Blade Runner and Brazil are both good
Yes.
examples that people. And Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
These movies came out well ahead of their time.
Audiences did not understand these movies, but when people who actually were watching it started to get it, they
Yes.
started getting their cult classic.
And now these movies are, but great movie. I love that movie.
That's a movie. It was great by critics. Audiences didn't really understand it, but it wasn't made for audiences. It was made for critics.
Well, plus the way I look at that movie, and it was perfect that they got Michael Keaton in there because where the character in the movie has a resurgence in his career because of the play and what happens in the movie, Michael Keaton got a resurgence in his career because of this movie.
Yeah.
And it was a great movie. And you're right, it's a movie that at the time it first initially came out, you're like, okay.
Well, advertising was partly the
Yes. And that's...
I did not understand what that movie was when I bought it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, this is fantastic.
Well, I'll admit, I did not know anything about the movie. I had no real I don't want to say I didn't have a desire to watch it, but when it was nominated,
Birdman, you talking about?
yeah,
Yeah, because
I was like, okay, I'm interested now.
Yeah.
And especially that the director won. I don't think Birdman won.
No.
No.
It did? Yeah,
It
it did.
won-
It did.
yeah,
That's
it
right.
won
It did.
something.
Yes.
I was like, it won something.
It won it, and I was like, okay, now I want to watch it. I watched it. Great movie. But that's enough of that. So, to sum it all up, adaptations, they're going to keep coming. There'll always be a thing because it's established properties and it's easier to get a budget, to get them greenlit because of that.
Yeah.
It's not going to end. It'll not put your phone away.
I got work.
I don't. It will be a thing from now until the end of time. So that's our episode for today. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, share it, go to our Facebook page, like it. We're actually going to have a Twitter page up shortly. He's going to be the one running it because he actually knows how to use Twitter. I don't.
It's not that hard.
I've never tried it.
140 characters.
I don't have a Twitter account.
Go get Twitter.
Shut up.
That's
So-
what the cool kids are using.
Okay, well,
Wait until we have to make you use Snapchat.
I have Snapchat.
I don't have.
Wait, how do you Snapchat and not Twitter?
Four.
I don't have Snapchat. Okay, and I use Twitter.
Next thing you're gonna tell me Periscope too.
I don't know what that is.
It's another thing.
Okay. Anyway,
Then
so
there's Vine, we don't want that.
so that's it for today. Again, I'm Jason.
I'm Rowan.
I'm Doc.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week. Later.